Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Hi, it's me. Yeah, I'm sorry, my my voice is still kind of coming back. Um, sorry about the noise. Um, so I'm still gonna kind of take it easy when it comes to the class in terms of speaking. I'm not gonna be my normal dynamic self. Hopefully, my voice, hasn't gone all the way yet. So I'll hope for that. But today we have it's a safety training, but it's kind of an impromptu one. It's not one that's required, but it's one that I want to go over because I witnessed it recently, and I think it's good for us to know about what to do in certain situations, even if you don't know what to do, even if you don't have your CPR and first aid certificates. It's still not. It's really good to know what to do in each situation. So the situation I encountered was somebody choking, and they were eating food and they started to choke, and they really couldn't help it. And I've seen people kind of choke before, but this one actually required somebody helping them with the Heimlich maneuver. I mean, so I want to go over with you all what the signs are and to know how and when to get help when it comes to a situation like this, and what you could do or instruct the person to do if you weren't positive, but to make sure that if you notice any of these signs, and we'll go over the Heimlich generally, but not, I'd rather you take it in a class from a professional, but because without your CPR first aid license, you're really supposed to say, but you should find somebody that does. But if you're all by yourself, if you try to do the right thing and you help somebody and say, because what could happen is you could crack somebody's rib or something like that, like just going in too hard. And yeah, well, you'll see as we go over the demonstration. So, and this is from the Mayo Clinic, and it's a step-by-step guide explaining what to do in a choking emergency. So choking occurs when a foreign object lodges in the throat or windpipe, blocking the flow of air. And in my situation, me, but in adults, a piece of food often is the culprit. Young children often swallow small objects. Because choking cuts off oxygen to the brain, give first aid as soon as possible. So there's a 5 and 5 approach, but let's go over first. So the universal sign for choking is hands clutched over the throat like this. Some people might think that's a basketball reference to Reggie Miller saying you're choking, your team's choking. But honestly, when somebody's doing that and you see fear in their eyes, that means I can't breathe. And honestly, the reason it is because that's the most natural movement, is to go up and say, hey, help. I can't breathe, and that's just what people do. So if the person doesn't give the signal, look for these indications. So say for some reason you see something and it seems to be wrong, but they're not actually doing, the choke signal. Part of it is the inability to talk. So they can't communicate with you. They might be pointing, and it could be frantic, but they can't speak. They can't actually tell you what's wrong. Like, hey, what's wrong? What's wrong? Because it blocks everything. Difficulty breathing or noisy breathing. Squeaky sounds when trying to breathe. Cough, which may either be weak or forceful. And skin, lips and nails turning blue or dusky. Also, yeah, it's kind of also from what I experience, it's also people turn really pale. Like, I don't know if it's that just from the fear, but it says skin that is flushed then turns pale or bluish in color. So that's kind of what it is at first. The skin gets red, then, and that's what I saw was the flush of, like, it just perfectly pale, kind of, I mean, and you'll see it. And then when something doesn't happen fast enough, then they can start turning bluish, but that just means that they're really starting to lose a lot of oxygen. And then, of course, the last one would be loss of consciousness, and that's when they might fall to the floor. So if the person is able to cough forcefully, the person should keep coughing, which is a good thing to know. If the person is choking and can't talk, cry, or laugh forcefully, the American Red Cross recommends a 5 and 5 approach to delivering first aid. So the 5 and 5, it's 5, and remember, it might seem forceful. I don't have anybody here to act it out on, but you want to give 5 back blows. So stand to the side and just behind the person. So, kind of depending on if you're right-handed or left-handed, you're going to want to grip kind of with one hand here on their abdomen. You're going to want to grip here and stand to the side, and you're going to, boom, you can hit them in the back 5 times. It might seem like it hurts, but it's better than passing out or losing consciousness. Well, that's what losing consciousness is. So stand to the side and just behind a choking adult. For a child, you want to kneel down behind them because you're obviously much taller than them. Place one arm across the person's chest for support. Oh, they say for chest. I would say here would be better because you're kind of dislodging it in 2 angles. Bend the person over at the waist so that the upper body is parallel with the ground, so they're facing down. Deliver 5 separate back blows between the person's shoulder blades, so like right here, and the heel of your hand, which is right there. Next is give 5 abdominal thrusts, which is also known as the Heimlich maneuver, but that's where you take your fist like this. You'll have it kind of balled up, and you're just going to get underneath here, right under the abdomen, and just push up really hard. You're up, and up, and you're going to do 5 more. So it's 5 and 5. 5 back blows. Hopefully that dislodges. If it doesn't, then you're going to get behind them. Boop. And they're going to kind of lift up and things like that. And then alternate between 5 blows and 5 thrusts until the blockage is dislodged. And if it seems like it's going on for a long time, you can always call, of course, 911. The American Heart Association doesn't teach the back blow technique, only the abdominal thrust procedure, which is the same for us. And that's what the person did, and it did help the person. And they, of course, things were dislodged. I think I'd be in a lot more. I'd feel a lot worse right now, or I wouldn't be wanting to go over this as much, but makes me know how important it is. So it's okay not to use back blows if you haven't learned the technique. Both approaches are acceptable. Again, even if the person's mad at you, as long as they didn't die and you dislodged it, that's the best thing. To perform abdominal thrusts or the Heimlich maneuver on someone else, again, you're going to, and so this goes over it more, you're going to stand behind them, so right behind them. And if they're much taller than you or much bigger than you, there's a couple of things you can do. If they're a lot bigger, you can't even get your arms around them. Luckily, I have really long arms. Or if they're tall like me, you can also have them sit and kind of get into position. But you want to stand behind the person, place one foot slightly in front of the other for balance. Sorry, I shouldn't push my voice so much. Wrap your arms around the waist. Tip the person forward slightly. If a child is joking, kneel down behind the child. Make a fist with one hand. I'd say your weak hand. So if you're typically right-handed, that's not the one you want to make a fist with. That's the one you're going to do the thrust with. So make a fist with one hand, position it slightly above the person's navel or their belly button. Grasp the fist with the other hand, so like this. Press hard into the abdomen with a quick upward thrust, as if trying to lift the person up. So up. Perform between 6 and 10 abdominal thrusts until the blockage is dislodged. And again, if you're really not comfortable, because there is fight, flight, or freeze, please get somebody else. Say, somebody's choking, help, 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 help. And hopefully somebody that feels comfortable doing it will come up and help. If you're the only rescuer, and this is a dire situation, perform back blows. I keep saying black lows, which is not what I'm trying to say at all. Sorry, that hurts my throat to laugh. It's just running together. Back blows. It's like a tongue twister. So if you're the only rescuer, perform back blows and abdominal thrusts before calling 911 or your local emergency number for help. If another person is available, have that person call for help while you perform first aid, which would be the Heimlich maneuver or the 5 and 5. If the person becomes unconscious, perform standard cardiopulmonary resuscitation or CPR with chest compressions and rescue breaths. But this you would need a class on. Unless it's just you, then do your best. To perform abdominal thrust, Heimlich maneuver on yourself, so you can do the same thing. So say you're choking and you're by yourself, and you're not going to be able to call 911. Well, if you can call them, but I don't know, you can't really text them. If you can't breathe, you're not going to be able to talk to them. And they're not going to really be able to see you going like this. But do it anyway, and hopefully they can track your phone. Then, although you'll be unable to effectively deliver back blows yourself, which you're not going to be able to do back blows by yourself. You can, but it's not going to be effective. You can still perform abdominal thrusts to dislodge the item. So you want to do the same thing. Take your fist, put it above your navel, and position your hands a little bit higher than a normal Heimlich maneuver at the base of the breastbone. So your chest right here, this is your breastbone. And then proceed with the Heimlich maneuver, pressing hard into the chest with a quick thrust. Boom. Repeat until the food or other blockage is dislodged. If the person becomes this is about yourself. So. Oh, sorry. I skipped the whole thing. So yeah. Wow. Okay. Let's start over real fast. Sorry. This is to do it for yourself. Place a fist slightly above your navel. Grasp your fist with the other hand and bend it over a hard surface. A countertop or a chair will do. And then shove your fist inward and upward. So really kind of get down like on a chair. Well, I have a chair right behind me. But you're just going to take the chair and put it in front of you and put your hand there and just kind of smack yourself into the chair, your stomach, right where you positioned your fist. And then that should dislodge it. Now, to clear the airway of a pregnant person, a pregnant woman, or somebody who's a bit larger, this is when you're gonna, instead of doing the stomach, because you don't want to hurt the baby, you also might not be able to get your hands effectively around somebody who's a bit bigger, or and then you're going to that's when you're going to go up to the chest bone, so higher, just like above where everything is, and then proceed with the Heimlich maneuver. And then to clear the airway of an unconscious person, lower the person on his or her back onto the floor, arms to the side, so arms are going to be out like that. clear the airway. So you want to sweep. Don't ever do that with somebody who's awake. All right, they bite your finger like off. So that just makes things worse. So Heimlich if they're awake. If they're passed out, try sweeping the mouth or clear the airway. So if it's at the back of the throat or in the or high in the throat, reach with the finger into the mouth and sweep out the cause of the blockage. Don't try a finger sweep if you can't see the object, and be careful not to push the food or object deeper into the airway, which can easily happen in young children. So if you see it, try to dislodge it. If you can't see it, don't push so that you're just getting it lodged even deeper into their throat. And then begin CPR. So that's what we do. I mean, if there's any other questions you have about CPR, things like that, what to do in a situation that you're not comfortable in, or that you've encountered and you're not sure what to do, please let me know, and I will definitely do a class on it. Okay, be safe out there, everybody. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, of course, let me know. All right, bye, everybody.